Muy buenas tardes. Bienvenidos al cuarto día de la quinta Conferencia Espacial del Paraguay. Soy el profesor ingeniero Miguel Ángel Volpe, miembro de la Junta Directiva de la Agencia Espacial del Paraguay, en representación de la Facultad de Ingeniería de la Universidad Nacional de Asunción. Tengo el honor de abrir esta sesión enfocada en la academia y el espacio, en la cual tendremos ponencias de referentes tanto nacionales como internacionales. Cedo el piso a quien será el moderador de esta sesión. Adelante, doctor Jorge Curita.
Muchísimas gracias, profesor Volpe, por esta introducción. En esta quinta Conferencia Espacial del Paraguay, en su cuarto día, tengo el honor de ser el moderador de esta sesión, por estar enfocado en la academia y el espacio. Las preguntas, por una cuestión de tiempo, solo vamos a contestar una o dos, pero el resto, nuestro director de comunicación, el ingeniero Enrique Nieves Martínez, hará llegar a los ponentes para su posterior retorno. Bueno, sin más preámbulo, iniciaremos este evento con la primera presentación. El Colegio Americano, el ASA, de sus siglas en inglés, The American School of Asunción, nos compartirá los trabajos de sus estudiantes en el área de las ciencias espaciales. Por favor, director Enrique, si nos puede iniciar esta presentación. Gracias.
From the beautiful country of Paraguay at the American School of Asunción comes Space Week! With your very special host, Dr. Tyler Sheldon, Mr. Nathan Lipper, the science teacher, Miss Carrie Liederman, and Mr. Jason Goldman. And now your host.
Hello, space aficionados and friends. My name is Tyler Sheldon, the Curriculum and STEAM Coordinator at the American School of Asunción. It's an honor to work with the Paraguayan Space Agency during the annual Space Week, October 4th to 10th, and share some of what we're doing here at the American School of Asunción in terms of space sciences and projects. So I'd like to take you through a quick walkthrough of what we're doing here at our school to inspire the next generation of space scientists. You can find us at our website, www.asa.edu.py. There's a variety of resources where we share what we've been doing over the past couple years, specifically with STEAM education, as well as space sciences. For example, we want to extend special thanks to Dr. Jorge Curita for joining us, for working with us, and for educating us on modern culture and modern practices in space sciences, specifically old space versus new space, as well as inner space, and the opportunity of our students to even launch Arduino units and launch probes up into inner space using a weather balloon. So for example, if you land at our website, you'll find some various clips about what we've been doing recently. And one of them is a direct collaboration with Dr. Jorge Curita. You can go and check it out right here. It's a link to the YouTube video where he visited us during our annual STEAM Expo. We have more presenters as well, so if you like this presentation and want to find out a little bit more, head on over to our YouTube channel, American School of Asunción, go to the playlists, and find the 2021 ASA STEAM Expo playlist. You'll find all of our amazing community presenters, including Dr. Jorge Curita, who share with us their projects, as well as our students collaborating and sharing their projects as well. So let's head back to the website and take a look at the amazing things that we're doing here. We have built a new STEAM center, and now it's part of our pedagogy and culture here at ASA. So I encourage you to check out STEAM at ASA to learn more of what this means. This will open up a new site where you can see all about the culture and learning of STEM education, that's sciences, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics here at the American School of Asunción. For example, we have refined and clarified our vision of what STEM education is, to help our space scientists understand clearly what they need to focus on to be successful. We also have a variety of posts about our community, of what we've been doing over the past 3-4 years with STEM education, the process that we use, the educational approach, the design cycle we use to keep kids on track and focus on the process, not the product, as well as some more things, our community connections and our guiding standards, how we improve our practices here. So I'd like to walk the community through, if you don't mind, a little bit about what does STEAM education look like here at ASA. Most important, we need to have a vision that we all agree on as a community. And our vision is this, that our students will design innovative solutions to 21st century challenges through collaboration, communication, and creativity. And this is what it's about. It's about designing solutions to sustainable development goals that the United Nations has identified, designing solutions to the challenges of our community, whether it is droughts or flooding or pests or crops or anything that are necessary for our community, and doing so by collaborating with community partners, communicating solutions, and being creative in the innovations that we come up with. To design this, we follow a design cycle. Our design cycle specifically has 6 stages. Now, there's many design cycles out there, so it's okay if you and your educational compatriots choose to do a different one. We've based ours actually on the NASA model and on the Engineering is Elementary and the Next Generation Science Standards model. And it's a fairly straightforward model that any subject can use, whether if you're an art teacher, a math teacher, a science teacher, a technology teacher, a social studies teacher, any subject can adopt this model for project-based learning. The model starts with asking questions, trying to understand the world around us. What is the problem? How have others approached it? What are our definitions and our constraints? From there, we come up with some solutions, we brainstorm ideas, and then we start to plan those out. Creating and making is all about the culture here at ASA in our makerspace, and we like to bring the solutions into the physical and digital reality. Whether it's 3D modeling or prototyping using cardboard, we want to have our students create. From there, we reflect to see what went well, we gather some data, we analyze it, and we look at what needs to be improved. And this is a cycle, and you can go through this cycle as many possible times. And so it's our learning reference and our kind of metric for guiding our students through project-based learning, through maker experiences, and through deeper investigations, whether scientific, mathematical, or civics-based. I'd like to also talk about some of our community connections. We again want to express warm gratitude to Dr. Jorge Curita for being a collaborator and a leader in space sciences in Paraguay. Through his support, we've been able to collaborate with the Paraguayan Space Agency. This is our 2nd year, and we hope to continue this collaboration in the future. Furthermore, here are some of our other collaborators to help us develop our STEM and STEAM ecosystem. OMAPA Regional Mathematics Competition, big appreciation for Claudia Rodriguez and all she does with the Ben Franklin Science Corner, as well as Habitat for Humanity, Techo, and Espacios de Ser, specifically Liu, for organizing Lego robotics every year and doing a phenomenal job of it. And so we want to really appreciate all of the community presenters and community organizers and community leaders that collaborate with us and work with us on a yearly basis to help our students see what are the true problems and challenges of our communities, of Paraguay, of Latin America, and how can we come up with innovative solutions through collaboration, creativity, and communication. Also, to base all of this, we use guiding standards from an external organization called Cognia. Cognia is an educational accreditation agency that accredits thousands of schools around the world. Cognia specifically has STEM and STEAM accreditation standards that we use to ensure that our program and our practices are aligned with modern research and with best practices. And this translates to focusing on a STEM and STEAM community, STEM and STEAM learning culture, STEM and STEAM experiences, and specific outcomes in the program. Okay, it's been a great honor to chat with you. If you have some more information in our programs, again, go to the American School of Asuncion, go to STEAM at ASA. You can even find a handbook to a recent STEM educators conference that we did, full of resources and materials for you and your educators and your teams to learn from. It goes over kind of what I just talked about with a little bit more in depth into some actual materials and resources that are all free and all open source. For example, we have Google Data Studio, VRFX Robotics, Desmos for Teachers, etc. These are all free open source resources that any educators can use, as well as other more information-based resources, such as the UN Sustainable Development Goals, Nat Geo Educational Resources, Tiger Woods Foundation Design Challenges. All of these are free. I want to say this again. All of these resources here are free. We even have some video resources for you to guide your program and your colleagues and your staff as well. Additionally, you can go ahead and see what we've done for the past 2 years with our STEAM Expo and see if you want to collaborate and present and help out with us. We have some fantastic student creations and student projects that were presented as part of an expo. And it's a chance for you to see some of the crazy creations that our kids are coming up with here in elementary school, in middle school, and in high school. And finally, I want to give a mention to everything that teachers do on a daily basis. Without you, none of this could happen. And so if you go to our website and check out STEAM Learning at ASA, you can find all sorts of community posts showing the amazing things that our kids have done over the course of the last few years, connecting with community participation. There's a quick blurb again. Dr. Jorge Gurita, you rock. We really appreciate all you do for us. And everything connected to all of our community, our learning, our teachers, our students, all of the materials and ideas and creations and thoughts that we've been doing for STEM and STEAM education over the last couple of years. So at this point, again, I want to close by giving, again, appreciation to Dr. Jorge Curita for all that he does to make it possible and to guide our students to reach beyond the sky and to reach into inner orbit and even to start aspiring into outer orbit. We hope you enjoy all of the presentations and student projects that you'll see here today or have already seen. And we look forward to further collaborating with the Paraguayan Space Agency. Have a fantastic day and enjoy Paraguayan Space Week.
The solar system is made up of the sun, the planets, and other objects. The 4 planets that are closest to the sun are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. These are the inner planets. The 4 planets that are farthest from the sun are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. They are the outer planets. Thank you. Hi, I'm Pao Yun Chen. I did this research with both physical and digital tools. I use Google to search images as help for the bodies in the solar system. The National Geographic Encyclopedia at home was especially helpful with my information. I know my basic planets and the sun, but this research helped me understand more of the characteristics such as the size, the positions, and shapes. I'm interested in the area of space structures and machines. Designing a space robot that can clean all the trash in space teach me more about this universe and how they help with their abilities sounds fun. That's why I think designing a space robot is important. Thank you. Bye.
This next presentation is about to be out of this world.
stellar.
That's some pretty cool stuff. Are you guys ready for some middle school work? Let's check it out.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nathan Lipperer, and I am the science teacher at ASA. Specifically, I teach 7th and 8th grade science, and in each of those grade levels, we study all of the branches of science, from biology to chemistry to physics and astronomy as well. In 8th grade more so. When we study astronomy in 8th grade, we study things such as the sun, earth, moon relationship and all of the natural phenomena that exist as a result of those relationships. We also talk about the solar system and all of the beauty and everything that is included in the solar system, which is actually it's more than just the 8 planets that you might think of typically. We also talk about the life cycle of stars and how collections of stars create galaxies and superclusters, that sort of thing. And we also talk about evidence for the Big Bang Theory, ultimately the creation of our universe as we know it today. Astronomy has always been a big passion of mine ever since I was growing up as a kid, just going out, looking at the stars, looking at the planets and the moon. And if we're lucky, if there's a comet in the area, going out with my dad on a clear night, it has inspired me to not only study astronomy, but to also teach it as well. So that is my story. I want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Carita for getting us involved. When I say us, I mean ASA. Us involved with the Paraguayan Space Agency, and for him sharing his knowledge to our students. So thank you very much, Dr. Carita, for that. This is Nathan Lipper signing off.
Hi, my name is Carlota Papalardo, and I'll present a project called Mission to Mars. I completed this project with my classmates Valentina Caniza and Luciana Sanchez. Mars is the second smallest planet in the solar system and the 4th planet away from the Sun. Its year length is 687 days, its day length is 1 day and 37 minutes, its size and diameter is 6,779 kilometers, and it's 1.5 astronomical units away from the Sun. Like I said before, Mars is the 4th planet away from the Sun. It's also about half the size of Earth. A fun fact is that Mars has 2 moons, Phobos and Deimos. After space probes visited the planet, they didn't find liquid water or life on Mars. Mars' atmosphere is less dense than Earth's. The atmosphere is composed of about 95% carbon dioxide. The changing temperatures ranges from about negative 125 degrees Celsius at the poles to about 20 degrees Celsius at the equator. Powerful dust storms are created by the wind. Mars' surface. Its reddish tint is produced by iron oxide, which are chemical compounds composed of iron and oxygen. The Martian volcano Olympus Mons is the biggest identified mountain in our solar system. Mars has glacial ice caps composed of frozen carbon dioxide and ice. The southern hemisphere of Mars has many craters. However, the northern hemisphere is flatter and appears to be covered by lava flows. As the population increases, it creates dangerous consequences. These complications vary from increased climate change, global warming, lack of resources, and more. We need to look for a new place where we can live. We can obtain many benefits by sending humans to Mars, although they can come with many risks and lots of funding. Now I'm gonna talk about the benefits of sending humans to Mars. This part was written by Valentina Caniza. These are the 5 main benefits of sending humans to Mars. To look for life and understand its origins. It can be suitable for living if circumstances on Earth get worse. It can make discoveries faster and in a more efficient way than robots. Sending humans to Mars will mean progress. It takes a big step toward more advances and major discoveries and technologies. It's better life than Earth. Now, I'm gonna talk about some of the risks that can happen when you travel to Mars. The initial step of moving to Mars is leaving Earth. The principal risk here is that your rocket can blow up before you leave Earth. If you want to take many people to Mars, you will need a gigantic rocket. A rocket launch requires a contained explosion. If anything goes wrong, then many people can get hurt. An example of this is that between 1981 and 2011, 833 passengers used NASA's Space Shuttle program and 14 people died in explosions. After leaving Earth, the rocket faces new issues. One of the most critical aspects of traveling to Mars is radiation. Radiation is energy that comes from a source and travels through space at the speed of light. Earth is shielded from intense radiation because of our atmosphere and magnetic field. Radiation can increase the risk for cancer, central nervous system damage, and multiple degenerative diseases. How to address this problem? Monitoring and shielding can protect you from severe radiation. The materials used for structures and objects needs to be effective enough against radiation. Isolation. If someone is isolated from Earth with other people for a long time, there will be behavioral complications. Some isolation effects include low sleep quality, depression, cardiovascular function, cognition, and mood decline. Miscommunication with your teamwork can affect the outcome of missions. To address this problem, things like lighting, actigraphy, meditation, exercise, and journals can treat people from the consequences of isolation. On average, Mars is about 140 million miles away from Earth. Communication delay can last 20 minutes, and if any equipment doesn't work, then the people will have to work on their own. Because of the distance, there can also be food and medicine shortages. If anyone requires medical attention, they will have to solve it on their own. There needs to be enough food and medicine stored to address this problem. The people on board should know about medication and how to fix equipment. Food processing, formulation, packaging, and preservation should improve. Mars has around 1/3 of Earth's gravity. It's difficult for the human body to adapt to other gravity fields, so this will affect your spatial orientation, locomotion, balance, and you might experience motion sickness. Vision complications can also be a big problem. The fluids will move to your brain, which will apply pressure to your eyes. Without enough gravity, your body will lose minerals and your muscles will be weaker because it's accustomed to fighting against gravity. To address this problem, people need to monitor the distribution of fluids and nutrition. Different medicine can help with specific problems, like preventing kidney stones and bone loss. Regular exercise can also keep your muscles active and healthy. The environment in space can also affect your health. In restricted habitats, microorganisms travel faster to distinct bodies. In space, your immune system and stress hormones are different. This means people have a stronger reaction to getting diseases or infections. To address this problem, NASA should control the air and make sure it's safe from dangerous gases. The astronauts should test their blood and urine to check for infectious diseases. Another risk is the toxic soil. The soil on Mars has perchlorate compounds with chlorine, iron oxide, and peroxide. Perchlorate is a deadly chemical used in explosives and fireworks. There's a high chance a small particle of the soil can create a hole in your suit in a powerful sandstorm. The toxic soil can mess up equipment, clog the door seals, and cover solar panels. It's impossible to grow food there. How to address this problem? Every object has to be strong enough to survive on Mars. They need to modify particular items and prevent the soil from coming into other parts of their machines. People have to stock up on food or identify another option where they can produce food on Mars. For the last part, I'm going to talk about the funding. This was written by Luciana Sanchez. To venture into space, we need a launch vehicle to get us there. It costs around $8.75 billion for NASA's Space Launch System. The SLS was built for missions to the Moon, Mars, Jupiter, or even Saturn. It towers at the height of 23 stories above its launch pad and can carry cargo, astronauts, and the Orion, a capsule we will discuss later on. The SLS is by far the most expensive item required, but it's also the most important. Spending $8.75 billion is worth it to get us to Mars and make history. To safely carry the astronauts into space, we need the Orion capsule. The Orion 4-person capsule will cost $900 million. It will also provide a living area for the crew. It was designed to bring 4 people, ideal for our mission since carrying 4 astronauts into space. The capsule is attached to the top of the SLS and detaches once the Orion reaches orbit. Since the SLS mostly takes the Orion, the capsule itself doesn't have immense power or speed. To make this Mars mission work and cost efficient, we need the Orion capsule and a Mars team. The cost to launch estimates $2.1 billion. To ensure the SLS and Orion have a safe takeoff, we needed to spend money to upgrade the launch pod. We want to have the SLS and Orion take off from the launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center. The money invested in the takeoff of the SLS will also be used to take extra precautions to ensure the crew stays safe. The launch of this system will make or break this mission, so we must treat it with the utmost importance, including splurging some money. It will cost around $300 million yearly to feed 4 astronauts. To keep our astronauts alive and healthy, we must provide them with 3 meals a day. The trip to Mars is a long one, and we need to keep our astronauts well fed and happy to have a fruitful mission. This is not only one of the cheapest main expenses, it is also one of the most necessary. Earth, otherwise known as our home, is in danger of overpopulation and climate change. If we continue to do nothing about it, chances are we won't survive. That is, unless we look outwards into space and other planets, precisely Mars. Mars most closely resembles Earth, and it's extremely close, a perfect candidate to be our new home. This mission will truly be revolutionary. Never before have humans stepped on another planet, much less lived in it. This mission will truly make history, and it will be an honor for NASA to take the next step in space exploration. For years, NASA has been paving the way in space discoveries, and now it can be done once again. This mission comes with risk and expensive, but isn't that what space exploration is all about? Thank you so much for paying attention to my presentation. I hope you learn more about Mars and what it takes to travel there.
How do you make a taco better? Make it a little meteor. More on astronomy coming up.
Ever since the beginning of life, we've always wondered what is above us, what is in space. Even discovering the word space, even discovering the principles of stars and planets and all this. Now, many things that we do on Earth are also similar to things that happen on other planets. For example, on Earth, we've been developing drones that people now every day could buy in a store. But now drones like these have been used on Mars to discover the new planet. Now, many other things. Since the space race started in 1969, we've been going back and forth to space, trying to discover more, and every time try to go deeper and deeper into space. Now, many times we discovered things like how to get there faster, how to bring things there, or even come up with these crazy ideas like how to make a space station there or a lunar station. Now, even up to nowadays, where there's privatized companies doing this, like you have SpaceX, Blue Origin, discovering how to do reusable rockets and how to even get people, like everyday citizens, into space for fun and travel. So definitely space has changed a lot, and space definitely has always been a wonder of human. It's been a human nature to always just want to discover what there is and always want more and more to know what happens there. Now, like I mentioned, more and more nowadays, stuff that technology has been more accessible to everyday people. For example, the other day, I spent a week building this drone. This drone uses very powerful engines, all systems of computers, everything you can imagine. But these could all be bought on Amazon and websites like this. Now, this drone, what makes it different from the drone on space? The only main principle of difference is the aerodynamics of it. Of course, in a different planet, there's different aerodynamics. Earth has different gravity than Mars. Earth has different properties of air and stuff like this. But essentially discovering how to do something on Earth, we can replicate that in space. And we can try to replicate and discover ways where we can adapt to those things. For example, we've been using jet engines here for planes and stuff like that, but they adapted those engines in a special way to use them for spacecrafts. So all through time, since the beginning of the space race, we've been evolutionizing and discovering and reinventing new things every day and day to make space more accessible, because all know we've always wondered what was up above us.
Wow! Kids these days, they really have some cool passions and interests. Let's see what those high schoolers are up to, eh? Here we go.
Hola, yo soy Joaquín Peroni y hoy estoy cerca de la ciudad de Kawasu con mi telescopio. Este es un Celestron Nexstar 8 Edge HD. es muy bueno para sacar astrofotografías. Atrás tenemos una cámara Canon T3i conectada a una computadora Windows corriendo el programa de Astrophotography Tool. En mi celular estoy corriendo el programa de Celestron de Sky Portal. Este programa uso para controlar todos los movimientos de mi telescopio, entonces desde ahí puedo apuntar a cualquier objeto en el espacio. Hoy estaremos fotografiando la nebulosa de Messier 16, también conocida como la nebulosa del Ayla, ubicada en la constelación de Serpent. Esta nebulosa es conocida porque es una zona de mucho hidrógeno y es un lugar donde nacen muchas estrellas. Bueno, ahora estaremos apuntando el telescopio hacia la nebulosa de M16. Utilizando el botón de acá, el telescopio solo se va a mover a la posición indicada. Ahora que ya está eso, vamos a ir a nuestro programa de Astrophotography Tool, donde vamos a poder empezar nuestra sesión. Acá tenemos el programa de Astrophotography Tool. Desde este programa vamos a estar controlando la sesión de imágenes de esta noche. Primero tenemos que seleccionar el nombre del objeto que vamos a estar haciendo esta noche. En este caso es M16. Después vamos a estar configurando cuántos segundos queremos que dure cada exposición. Hoy vamos a estar sacando exposiciones de 45 segundos. ¿Sí? Después configuramos toda esta parte, que son configuraciones de la cámara, que son muy importantes para el resultado de nuestra imagen. Y finalmente estaremos configurando el tiempo de pausa entre imagen e imagen para antivibración del espejo. Bueno, finalmente estamos listos para iniciar nuestra sesión de fotos y podemos empezar. Ya finalizada nuestra sesión de fotos, ahora empezaremos el proceso de stackear nuestras imágenes. En este proceso estamos utilizando la aplicación de Deep Sky Stacker. Acá estaremos abriendo todas nuestras imágenes y lo que haremos es juntar todas las imágenes en una sola usando este programa. Entonces abrimos nuestras imágenes que ya están elegidas, seleccionamos las imágenes y finalmente las abrimos acá. Una vez abiertas nuestras imágenes, podemos empezar seleccionando todas. Y ahora estamos listos para empezar el proceso de stackear nuestras imágenes. Haremos así. Y esto ya está todo automático. Entonces solamente tenemos que comenzar. Una vez finalizado este proceso, tendremos una sola imagen sin mucho color que tenemos que llevar a Photoshop y ahí finalizar la imagen para que luzca.
This next piece will blow your mind like a supernova.
The 10th grade students have been busy this school year thinking about searching for life beyond Earth. They kicked off the school year thinking about how do we search for life beyond Earth, and made some initial models thinking about, could we send rockets out there? Could we send some signals? Could we be looking through telescopes? And essentially they decided maybe we need to search for what life consists of. What kind of things would we look for if we were searching for life beyond Earth? And how can we explain this using some chemistry? In the early stages, the 10th graders were looking at what elements were actually important for life to exist. So they were observing all kinds of different molecules important for life, like membranes and those lipids, DNA and everything that composes them. And they were looking at what elements did they all have in common. And what they noticed is that carbon was everywhere, along with some hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. So the students were looking at what makes those elements so special for life. The next thing students wanted to look at is, why is water so special? We always hear about searching for water on other planets to see if there's life on other planets, but why is it so special? So students had the opportunity to test the different properties of water and figure out, is water so special? Could other substances maybe even replace water? They had other questions after these lab activities about, is conductivity really important about water? What kind of helps conductivity? Is conductivity important in our cells and things like that? We also see that there's charged ions on all of these important molecules like DNA and membranes. And so what do those do? Also, how are molecules even formed like water? So we've been using chemistry to help explain some of these phenomenons and help us figure out, is water so special and can it be replaced? And the curiosity continues, no pun intended, to see if the 10th graders can figure out, is water really replaceable by another substance? Are these essential elements really essential, and could they be replaced if we looked and found other elements on different planets? Could there indeed be life? And what are scientists really doing right now to search for life beyond Earth? And what suggestions could we give them? So stay tuned.
This next presentation is about to have your head spinning like the Milky Way galaxy.
Well, this circuit is pretty basic, but it has one sensor. It has this motion sensor, which will receive the input, which is motion, and lead to two different outputs, which would be this motor and this the LED light. So, and here we have the Arduino, of course. So if we start simulation, so whenever this sensor detects any motion, you can see that motor rotates 180 degrees and the light starts blinking. If there's no motion, then it goes right back to its original position. So I see this as like a prototype or a mini model of an automatic door. So whenever they sense motion, they open, and once there's no motion, then they return back to their original position. They close back, and yeah, so they open and then they close back. And also, these doors often come with blinking lights. Whenever they're open, there's a light that starts blinking. So this is just like a mini model of an automatic door, a mini model of its circuits and its mechanics as well.
A quick question for you, Hera. What was the hardest part in this? Kind of the original design, or coding it, or finding, putting all of the pieces on the breadboard?
Well, yeah, I think putting the pieces in the breadboard, because like you have to connect everything here, and I looked for some, like there were parts where I was stuck, so I had to look I had to like search for answers or look at other models to understand how to connect everything. So I think that was a hard part. The code was not too hard because this is pretty simple. There's nothing too complicated about this. So whenever there's like motion detected, here you can see that my servo is a motor, so 180. It turns 180, it rotates 180 degrees, and the blinking lights. I added this. This says delay because I wanted the lights to blink. So LED high means that the light is turning on, and then LED low means that the light is turning off. So it turns on, and then there's a delay, and then it turns off. So I also had to find a way to make it a blinking light rather than just a light that stays on.
And so following your code there where it says else, meaning that if it's not receiving the input, the microserver returns back to 0, which is 0 degrees.
Yes.
During the engineering robotics class, we started utilizing Tinkercad to create Arduino Uno R3 projects. And for my first project, I decided I saw that in traffic, many people, once there's a green light, they wait for some reason, and it slows traffic down a lot because they have to wait, and then the car behind them has to wait, and the car behind them has to wait, and it's very detrimental to to speed up times. So what I created was a sensor that detected if there was any object in the close to it, and if there was, as you can see, the motor is off. But if there isn't, the wheels start turning.
It looks like actually the number is there. Can you tell us a little bit about the number there, the wheel turning?
Yeah, this is the revolutions per minute. It's how much the wheel turns per. This is the maximum for the specific motor. Then I also tried to design a sensor that would detect if it's either cold or hot outside, and if it was colder, the blue light would turn on, and if it was hot, the red light would turn on.
Cool. Thank you very much,
Nice.
Ilan.
I like it. By the way, I'm not really not into Arduino. There are my students and other engineers, but I can tell you your idea of the temperature sensor is very important. It didn't happen much here in Paraguay, but I know in the US, people used to forget toddlers inside the car or pets. And when it's getting too hot, they usually go, they may die, And I know 4 more corporations, 4 companies try to implement this same concept you were saying, but not only by the temperature, but also motion sensor. So they have a motion sensor inside where the light is on the top of the ceiling. And when they detect 2 things, when the engine is off and they detect movement inside the little compartment, the alarm sounds. Right? For some reason, they are not implementing this yet. They might have some reason for why, but your idea is helpful. I think that can be proposed as a safety tool, safety, feature. I'm thinking about business, okay, and selling this in the private sector.
The American School of Asuncion would like to thank the Board of Directors, the Director General, the principal team, all of the teachers, all of the amazing students, and everybody else, including parents, who have helped to make space sciences alive and interesting here. We would also like to extend a special appreciation to Dr. Jorge Curita for all of his efforts in collaborating with us and ensuring that we have a solid contact and relationship to develop space sciences here in Paraguay. Thank you so much for all you do, everyone. We love you.
Thank you, Dr. Curita, for all you've done with ASA. And it was wonderful meeting you all those years ago at Miss Cortes's, my great mentors, Asado. And congratulations on another wonderful Space Week. And in my classes, we often have window questions. When a student has a question that I don't know the answer, they write it on the window in a marker and we research it. And inevitably, it always comes to black holes and how our planets form and how our galaxies formed and what will happen when the Milky Way and Andromeda collide in a few hundred millions of years and form Milkdromeda, and how does Sagittarius A star form, and is Planet X actually a primordial black hole, and is that actually our new planet in our solar system? These are all the great things that our students are able to research. And I'd like to thank the Agencia Espacial del Paraguay, because these space weeks are always packed with so much information, and they're just such a treasure trove of so much great information and presentations that are just wonderful to see and are so enriching to all of us. So thank you, and congratulations on another wonderful Space Week.
Thank you so much for checking out our presentation. Y'all are amazing. Have a fantastic week.
That was out of this world.
Oh boy. Muchas gracias, Profesor Sheldon, Mr. Sheldon. por compartir los trabajos de ciencias relacionados al espacio en el ASA. Fue muy divertido, muy interesante, muy americano. Fue una presentación muy interesante y sobre todo motivador. Realmente desde la AEP, la Agencia Espacial del Paraguay, estamos muy emocionados por colaborar con instituciones educativas en general para promover el STEM, es decir, educación en ciencias, tecnología, ingeniería, arte y matemáticas. Estamos para servir para todos. Bueno,